Walking away wasn't easy for me. And one of the biggest reasons it wasn't easy for me is because I hated America. I hated America for a few reasons, but more powerful than anything that I had in my mind. See, I hated America for the biggest reason everyone knows, slavery. I watched the movie Roots as a young boy, and it put a permanent stamp in my mind on my temperament towards America. Secondly, I was taught how the South was and Jim Crow. I was taught that America was all over the world, had some kind of interest in many other countries, had troops on many other people's lands. I received a lot of one-sided stories that painted, and it always painted America in the light of white people, first of all, not Europeans that immigrated over here within the last 100 years, not people south of our border, not people across the seas from Asian countries, African countries. It was taught to me that pretty much the entire history of America, anytime we talk about America, we only talk about white people, even though in the books we talked about more than white people. Didn't go a lot into black history and specific racist history. Not racist, but race as in RACES, different races history. It mainly talked about the larger events, and yes, a lot of times those were white people it may have highlighted. But I go on to say I hated America because the laws allowed for most of this to happen. See, this what people didn't tell me. The law was one of the biggest things that controlled slavery. See, we can blame people all we want. See, we have laws passed where the people themselves, everyone doesn't agree to them. Everyone doesn't think it's okay. But if those laws get passed or they're held up in court, what happens is you may have a strong resistance and a strong for any given thing. And I was always taught it as if all white people were with it. And if all white people weren't with it, they were condoning it. And the one thing I learned is even in this information age, there may be things going on in any other country or other parts of this country we don't have no idea about it. Even with Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all the other news stations and news media and outlets and podcasts, even with all of that, there's still plenty of things us as an individual may not know. Us as a collective may know, but as an individual, we may not know. That's why we have the ability to share things on social media. Back then, before all of this social media, and especially before TV, information wasn't able to be quickly spread. And since information was not able to be quickly spread, there was no way possible people could know atrocities was going on as they were happening. There was no way possible that people could find out someone was being unfair to someone in some random restaurant so they can come for a nationwide boycott. These are recent powers that we have acquired through the technology that has developed rapidly within the last 20 years. And even the last 20 years before that, people couldn't even predict what we could have in our hands now. And I say all of that to say, I finally understood everybody wasn't against blacks. Everybody wasn't for slavery. And when I walked away, which was a process, it wasn't one day, it wasn't one moment. It was a lot of ideas and things that were seeded in my mind. My experience never really reflected the teachings. What do I mean? Let me get to it. I was told first time I had a very radical speaker come to my school. I was in high school, 9th grade. I didn't know who these people were. It was 3 of them. I didn't know who these people were. Can't remember what organization they was associated with. But they reminded me of some Black Panther kind of party, but I don't think it was them. But they definitely was a quote unquote pro-black organization, but they were very radical. They even spoke as some of the Nation of Islam speakers would speak, like Malcolm X, or some of them speak today. By that, I mean they would call white people devils. Okay. They talk about people preaching hate, but right there, calling white a whole race devils. That's like about as racist you can get. Even if the ones in power within that group did nasty things because they had power, I realized anyone with power will do some nasty Read up on the history of some other countries. There's a lot of countries that's going through jacked up stuff right now because people in power. But let me get back to my point. You have this group, this small group, about 3, maybe 4 people, come to my school, and they sit us students down in front of them. They're talking about these are white racists that just want to see you fail. These people are out here. We don't know who they are specifically. Most of them, we don't know who they are, but we know they out there and we know they want to hurt you. These people are out there. They're stopping you from getting jobs. They're going to hate you. They're going to call you the N-word. They're going to just all this stuff. And then give us a history lesson. This is all stuff that happened in the past. That's how we know what's going to happen in your future. I realized I can't live my future based on my past. Who lives their future based on their past? No, the past is a reference point. And the past is something you look forward to, not look forward to, but the past is something you look to learn from and to grow from and see where things are going on a trajectory. So I get all this hate, and there's a lot of things throughout my life I received. Even things that wasn't actual lessons, just the tone or the attention it causes, like talking proper where I'm from. And I was told this a couple times in elementary, you sound white. I'm learning from my teacher how to speak proper, because they corrected my English every day. I say something wrong, they correct it. I probably even use some improper English now. But as I try to improve my English, my peers in my neighborhood keep telling me I talk white, which reinforces that that's a bad thing somehow. But let me get to it. So these are the kind of things that were put into my head, and I became a hater of my own country. How many of y'all out there started to hate your own country based on all one-sided stories? America has done a lot of great things. And as I did my own research, I learned how many great things America has done, especially since the time after slavery. There's a lot of jacked up stuff, but the time after, and no, let me say this one thing too. It kills me how they say, oh, white people, when all slavery was in the South. Slavery was in the South. It wasn't all the way in Cali. It wasn't all the way up there in Washington State. It wasn't up there in North Dakota, okay? It wasn't in New York. It was in the South. So it's not even all white people. The miseducation of my country was just as bad as the miseducation of my own people, my own race. And learning all of these things, the hate for my country has shed, slowly but surely. I learned about the legal system in America. Oh, you don't like the legal system? Go to another country, see how it works. You're going to see how many countries that do not have a fair legal system like ours, that doesn't seriously consider evidence as much as we do, have all the things that we can object to in court the way we do. Ooh, I learned so much learning legal. Ooh. Now let me get to economics and business. Ooh, the ability to come into business and leave business as we please. Bankruptcy as an option when your business fails. Oh my goodness. Things leaving your credit after 7 years. Look, there's so many mechanisms that makes this country great. And the more I learn, the more I love my country, America. And the left and the Democrats, I swear to you, they will try to get you to hate America. They will get you to hate your own homeland. All the immigrants want to come here. A lot of them go to Europe too. But so many want to come here. Why? Why do they want to come here? I tell you why. Because we are a great nation with some very terrible stains on our outfit. But we are cleaning them up, and we are making ourselves look even better for the future and making ourselves even stronger for our children. I love America. The left will tell you otherwise. Walk away.